condensed to a slow vibration, that we are all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. There's no such thing as death. Life is only a dream, and we're the imagination of ourselves. Here's Tom with the weather.
I actually heard a clap that time.
Nice.
New record.
I'm a pretty good clapper, I've been told.
Weird flex, but okay.
Easy clap, boys.
Bochi hyper clap. Alright, that's how the podcast is going to start. There's no point to it. Everything's pointless. This is the Pointless Cast. It's the Pointless Podcast. Welcome to the R Anime Pointless Cast. Thank you for tuning in. Don't know why you did that. What a mistake. What a blunder you have made. Because this week we have a bit of a special topic, but I guess I should introduce everybody. I'm No One Cares. And joining me, we have Gamer Panic. I forgot your name for a second. I almost said Bacon.
Gamer Bacon Panic.
Yes.
Hello, all you cool cats and kittens.
That's a new one.
It really isn't.
Carol
He says it in Discord all the time.
Well, I don't know what Discord is.
You've said it like 3 times.
Oh, all you cool cats and kittens.
And also, we have Mike behind him Smurf.
No, it's not behind me anymore.
Oh, okay.
I moved it, right?
Mike about him.
No longer Mike behind him Smurf.
Yeah, it's to the side of me now. Where
Mike to the side of him Smurf.
Yeah.
How's it going?
My setup is as mediocre as the anime we're going to be talking about.
Epic. Awesome. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the highest honor an anime can receive, being completely and utterly pointless. We're talking about anime that this is a bit of a broad category that I don't know if we can specifically keep one label on it, but basically I thought of this because I watched an anime from last season at some point this month called Bokutachi Remake, or Remake Our Life. I watched this entire show in one sitting because I'm just like, I don't want to have opinions on something today, but I'm going to watch an anime anyway. And then I watched all of it, and at the end, I'm like, why in the world did I even do that? That was a complete waste of my time. Because it's not that it was specifically bad, although surely it was bad, but it's not that it was bad in an interesting way. It's just that it didn't do anything. And that's kind of
it left no impression on you.
Yes. It's it just won't have any sort of lasting impact or memory on you. So yes. I kind of tried to describe this as anime that we watched for little to no reason. Likely because it just happened to be right in front of us when we felt there was nothing better to do, or to fulfill some sort of quota. We're coming up at the end of the year, so I'm sure some of you are probably like, ooh, it's 2021's ending, I gotta watch all the anime from 2021, or watch this many anime, and things like that.
Yeah, it's set a weird little rule for yourself. But
yeah,
I do think it's an interesting topic, because I think everybody has shows like this. Because generally, the life cycle of an anime watcher is you find it, and you're like, oh, this is exciting, where's more? And then you discover the seasonal cycle, and then you go head first and consume as much as possible, and eventually you burn out.
Yeah.
But in that consume as much as possible, you'll watch everything just because it's there.
Yeah. It's
you're excited to get into this hobby. This medium, and at some point you start realizing, well, most of this is just kind of there. There's no reason to watch it.
Maybe you just opened up Crunchyroll or High Dive or 9anime or whatever other streaming platform the kids use these days, and you just see an anime on the front page and you're like, ooh, never heard of this before, but I don't know, the thumbnail's got big titties on it, so I'm going to watch it. And then
those are always good though. I mean,
I love Eden Zero. It's my favorite anime.
Hey, I actually do like Eden Zero, though.
Didn't something happen with that? Someone died?
The director died.
Oh, shit, I forgot. Yeah. Whoops.
Co-director. died. The other
Wow,
director
wait.
is the
Wow.
Fairy Tail director. He was continuing on to Eden Zero, but the new
Way to
director
go,
brought
Moss.
in-
Now this episode is going to be demonetized.
Yeah, it's okay. We don't make any
Speaking
money
ill
from
of
this
the dead.
podcast anyway.
No, but I do find it fascinating because we live in like
A society.
a time where in an anime society where so much anime is made every single fucking season, and how many shows are like legitimately remembered a year later. it's not most. There's a
Right.
lot of stuff that's just like pulp. It's like Pulp Fiction, not the movie, but the medium.
When I was
Where-
looking through like Mal's seasonal list last night, trying to find shows to talk about for this podcast, there were a lot of seasons I opened up, like the chart, and I saw a show pretty close to the top, rated by like most members, and I was like, I forgot that show existed. Like I completely
Right.
forgot about that show. That was really
Is
hyped
it-
when it aired. I don't remember
is
what that
it
was.
It's like
Is it something on your list? Do you want to share it later, or do you want to share it now?
I don't remember what it was. I'll be honest.
Oh, lol, XD.
oh, you already forgot again.
I just remember having that feeling like, a couple times going through. I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh my
but
god!"
it's
I'm
like
I forgot
these
about
companies.
that show.
It's like the companies, the production committees and studios are they're like prioritizing quantity over quality. Like you had, was it Toei Animation who made like some statement that they want to make 50 anime a
That's
year?
good.
maybe
Kodansha.
more.
Katakawa. Oh, was it Kanin?
Who?
Katakawa? I thought it was Katakawa.
You might be right. It was one of those K companies.
Could be. Yeah, it's one
whichever.
of those big ones.
Keikaku, let's go with that.
And they were just like,
That is, I mean,
Yeah, we want-
it is their Keikaku to make 50 anime per season or whatever.
Nice.
and it's absurd. Why would you do that? Like most of these can't be selling very well. No one's ever heard of these.
Mm. Where, I mean, it's already taken
fucking
effect
crazy.
because I believe one of the products of that is The Detective Is Already Dead, which has now become a very modern example of the first episode looked good and the rest of it looked terrible.
Yes, this is what happens. It's like these poor studios are like they're being hired on to produce 10, like maybe they headline 3 shows a season and then they do outsourcing on 7 others and everything just suffers for it. People go, it's the incredible crunch of this entire industry is just being shot through the roof because the output has to keep escalating. And no one wants to pay these poor people, give them reasonable hours. I mean, yeah. And then something like The Detective is Already Dead. I'd already forgotten that existed. Everybody lost their shit when it was announced and the first episode. And then now it's just like, where did it go? No one's ever talking about it.
That show's actually on my list of shows that I brought in. This Detective Is Already Dead.
Right.
Because that was a show that the second... from episodes 2 to 12, I was just like, why am I watching this? This is boring. Who cares? Like, none of these characters
Yeah.
are interesting. I don't care what's happening. The plot doesn't really make any sense. Like, I don't... What is the show?
And when it finished, you'd probably already, like, it was out of your mind. Just gone. No reason to remember anything about it.
Pretty much, yeah.
But I bet there's like 10 people who swear by it. Like, it's their favorite ever.
Like, I'll just
But
always,
that's the
like,
case
shake
for
my fist
everything.
at it for having VTubers, but that's about it.
Oh, that's
Like,
why
you'll
watched
find
it.
even the most obscure show on Mal, like some piece of shit rated nothing at all with like 50 members. One of them is going to have it as their favorite.
Okay, so I have a show.
Everything-
I have a show that I can bring up that aired a few years ago. I actually didn't write down the release dates of any of these shows that I have, so that's my
Right.
B.
Oh, I didn't either, actually.
But there was a show that aired in summer of 2017 called 18 If.
Mm.
Did anyone
Yes.
watch that?
No,
No,
but
but I remember the
I'm a
title.
little bit familiar with it.
So that was a show that came out. It was supposed to be like this weird, trippy, like, you know, whatever show. It had like a dubstep OP or like a I don't know what music genres
Based?
are.
Based department?
You know who Teddy Lloyd is, the artist?
Yeah. Yeah.
He had an OP, so that's kind of like the overall atmosphere of the whole show, basically. And it was based on a gacha game because, of course, it is. And I actually played the gacha a little bit before it came out, and it was actually pretty interesting. You had to like dive into these girls' like dreams and solve their problems to
okay.
wake them up or something. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. And then the anime did nothing, didn't even touch that at all. It was just like, this just exists just to be like a weird, trippy experience. Like, but you're completely ignoring the interesting concept that the game had. It's like, oh yeah, whatever, who cares? It's like, okay.
It's like a loss of... It's like death of the author, but in this case, it's like death of the artistic intent of everything. It doesn't matter. It's content. Got to spit out fucking content.
I do remember 18if had like one episode that was genuinely good. That's what everyone says.
I don't remember the details of any episode in the show.
Neither do I, but obviously because I didn't watch it. I just heard secondhand.
Like the title reminded me for some reason of another show. I think it might have been the same season called Just Because. Did anybody?
That was a season.
I remember the title. Just never heard anything about it after it ended.
It was a very typical high school romance show that doesn't really go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like Origairu Light, right? It was like kind of romance, but a lot of drama, but then nothing really happens by the end. I mean, Origairu, something happens by the end, but like if you were just like Origairu season 1, like, okay, cool, nothing happened at the end.
Although, this is kind of...
Except Just Because it was original, so it should have ended with something happening, and it didn't really.
This is kind of... It's kind of like... I don't know if like syndrome. I don't know. Something people like to try and predict beforehand. Like everybody was like this about Bunny Girl when it came out. Oh, people would forget about it in a year. But they didn't. Like that's an example of one that actually stuck. It's like in the zeitgeist still. Even if you don't like it, people are still remembering it. Like Mai won the Best Girl contest this year, and people talk about Bunny Girl Senpai.
I was pretty excited for
what?
Just because it had something to do with...
Just because.
It has something to do with the Tsukigakure creators. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember the connection exactly, but it was like the season or two after Tsukigakure. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, cool, they're back with another show. Like, I'm hyped. Maybe it's just the same studio and I was an idiot. But,
no, that's not it wasn't the same studio.
It isn't. This is Pine Jam. What did Pine Jam? I don't know, who cares?
They made Gamers.
I didn't watch Gamers, but I heard it had PUBG in the opening, so 10 out of 10 right there.
Gamers.
Remember that game, PUBG?
Hell yeah.
But, like, I watched Just Because I was kind of excited for it, and then it was just kind of nothing. There was one character that had personality, and everybody loved her, because she was the only interesting character in the show.
Feels bad, man.
Funny enough, Gamers is actually on my list of shows that I watched and left no impression on me whatsoever.
The only reason I ever think about Gamers is because of that one part in the OP where it like goes double time. It goes super fast and it's awesome, but that's it. It does like a big circle around shot around a big boss or something. It looks cool and the music gets really good and exciting. That's kind of it.
I think
that's
do
all I remember about it.
The OP being okay.
Yeah.
That's a show that has survived. The only way that Gamers has had any sort of lasting discussion behind it is because someone made this meme pentagram.
Yeah, they made
about all the character relationships, except he made it as complicated as imaginable.
It was a meme.
It was literally a meme, but everybody took it completely seriously as like, oh, this is what the show is like. It's so complex. And it's like, no, it's just dumb.
No, the show was purposefully stupid about the whole love pentagon thing. Everything was about misunderstanding.
Yeah, like yes, if I write down every single character relationship in detail in one image, it will look really complicated because it'll be a lot of text.
Has anybody done that about like JoJo? Like 10 million characters and
probably. I don't know. Smurf is the JoJo expert.
Yeah, I mean, why haven't you done this yet?
There aren't like really any complicated like character relationships in JoJo.
Well, no, not complicated, but like this guy knows these three guys. These three guys, what's their relationship to each other? Who do they know? And suddenly you have this like fucking bajillion point star.
I mean, I guess it'd mostly just be like
you can make
the one character that
the
came
point
from
is you
another
can.
Part. He knows all the
point is
characters
you can make one of these diagrams as ridiculous as you want with any given show.
I made a diagram like this when I watched My Little Monster a long time ago because I thought it was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Is that
Like, I could make-
is that the anime where it was about someone dating a little kid because he was 10, but he didn't look like he was 10? He looked like he was an adult.
No.
What?
I vaguely remember what you're talking about, but I don't remember the name of it. My Little Monster was
So he was a kid, but he looked adult. It's usually the other way around.
Yeah, no, I know what he's talking about. But then the girl was an adult who looked like a kid, right? Isn't that how it worked?
I didn't watch this show. It's just a synopsis that I heard about. Okay, I see what the show you're actually talking about now. Now I'm embarrassed because this is an actually popular show that people like, and I just mix it up with something that no one fucking remembers from 2016.
I don't. My Little Monster is about like a kind of a shy bookworm, like straight A student girl who falls in love with like this like no good delinquent guy. And they kind of rub off on each other and change each other. Like, she becomes a little less, all about her grades and all that. And he becomes, like, a bit of a nicer person.
Hatsukoi Monster. That's what I was thinking of.
Okay.
First Love Monster. Yeah. Continue.
That's fine. But, yeah, I watched that show. But it had a lot of, like, oh, this person likes this person, but this person likes this person, but this person likes this other person instead. But then these two people like this person, and that person likes this person, and it's like, oh my god! Like I had to actually write down a chart while I was watching it to keep track of who liked who and who was friends.
But this
with
person
who.
saw these two people talk and didn't know that they're just friends. And
yeah,
damn, Hatsukoi Monster. This sounds good. No, I don't know.
Right. Hatsukoi Monster, yeah.
That's probably a pointless season to let someone probably watch for some reason.
Like, for my list of these pointless seasonals, the first one I thought of was Comic Girls. Remember Comic Girls?
I almost wrote that down. Huh. Yeah, I didn't, but I thought I thought it was too bad to write down. It wasn't.
That show just went nowhere.
Boring enough.
It's like my quintessential 5, I think. Just like nothing.
I have a
nothing
show
at all.
I can get into some shows that I watched that I'm like simultaneously asking why did I watch that while I also know the exact reason that I watched it. If that makes any sense to you. So like Gurazeni.
Right. Like you know what got you, like the trigger that got you into it.
So there was a show called Gurazeni. It aired in spring of 2018, I want to say.
I thought about putting Gurazeni on my list, but there are things that genuinely stand out to it about it.
Well, I'll say it was the second best baseball show that guy directed that season.
Amazing. That guy also did Diamond No Ace, or
he did Major Second.
Sorry, got it mixed up.
What a guy.
But Gurazeni was the kind of show where I started it. I was like, oh, a baseball show. I like baseball. I'll watch this. And then it was really boring because all it was about, the entire show was about this guy, and he would just look at baseball players and be like, that guy makes that much money. And it's like, that's the end of the episode. And goes, okay, cool. What a waste of my time that episode was.
Yeah.
But there was this super cute girl in the OP and ED. And I was like, I need to watch this for her. I need her to show up. She's super cute. I want to see her. So I kept watching until she showed up. And she shows up in the final episode of the season.
That's it.
She actually is a really interesting character. I actually really like their dynamic. I don't know if you remember it at all.
I know she hated him at first, and
she didn't hate him. He would go to her like she was like a waitress at like a bar.
Yeah, I remember.
And he would go there all the time, and she was a huge diehard fan of his rival team.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. I remember that now.
But I was like, that's fun. That's a really fun way to do things, because most shows, it's always like the love interest is a fan of the main character's team or whatever, and it's like, I like that. It's a really cool way of doing it. But I never watched season 2. Maybe she had more screen time. I don't know. But I was like,
maybe
I got my fill of her. She was cool. Put her on my 3x3 for best characters of the season, and I'm done.
So I didn't do anything, but she was cute.
She was cute. That's all it takes sometimes.
Roger Smith watch it.
That was like another show. Because I don't even remember. I don't have no idea why I started Comic Girls. I think I was just like, cute girls doing cute things, slice of life, whatever. It's like, oh, this is like K-On! But with manga. Let's go.
I remember hearing something about something like that. It was like, oh, it's K-On! But manga.
Literally, the only good part of that show is that Ri Takahashi plays like a chuny tomboy mangaka.
That's pretty good.
I didn't know this was a good show. I need to watch this. Plan to watch.
She's pretty cool. There's also like, I think, a ghost type of girl, but just like main character is just so obnoxious. And
Comic Girls
gets nowhere.
I watch Comic Girls because I watch every anime, and I will say, as far as I'm aware, I have seen every single anime about making anime, making manga, or voice acting.
Yeah.
Huh. This was kind of like the main point of it, and it was the same with another show. I think the same season, Slow Start, that I have on my list too, which was like. It was an okay time, but it had this same frustrating message of main character feels inadequate, wants to improve. Everybody tells them, nah, man, just do it at your own pace, and then it ends. Nah, man, you don't have to work hard. You can just, like, it'll happen. And like, that's a bad message. These main characters want to get better at something. Why won't you just help them? Why are you telling them to slow down?
It's not on my list, but can I rant about a show that has a bad message?
Are you going to talk about Kumamiko?
I never saw Kumamiko.
Okay, then I have no idea. Sure, go ahead.
I want to talk about
just the first thing that came to my head.
Is this about Attack on Titan?
Yeah, it's way too fascist, or what's the word? I don't know. I want Bokuben.
I never saw Bokuben.
Oh, which one is that?
It's the Shonen Jump harem about the guy who tutors the girls.
We Never Learn.
Yeah, We Never Learn. And it came out the same season as Quintessential or the season after Quintessential Quintuplets. Another harem about a guy who tutors his harem.
No, wasn't it the exact same season?
I don't think so.
No, it was the season after. It was the season after.
But Bokuben is all about how you should be stupid with your life decisions, and that should be praised. That's the whole.
Yeah, you shouldn't do. It's like show. It's okay. You're good at a thing, but don't do that.
Right, because they're like the girls are never good at what they like. Basically, is kind of what happens. So the one girl. I don't remember which girl is good at what, so I don't care. But one girl is like really good at math, but she really likes art or whatever, and so all the teachers and her parents and all that are all saying like you should do math for like your job because you're really
good at math.
You should be like an accountant or something. Like you're really good at math. You could easily make a living off of this. And the main character's like, no, follow your dreams. Get a job as an artist or whatever. And I'm just like, what a terrible mess. Like you're terrible at it. You're gonna die. You're gonna starve and die if you do that.
Yeah, but again, it's also a good message because like, why? What's the point of getting a job you're good at if you fucking hate it?
You get a job that you're
she's
good
just going to
at.
be sad forever.
No, you get a job you're good at and you do what you like as a hobby on the side. Use the money you got from your job to fund your hobby.
True. That should be the real message of it.
That's what the teacher was saying, right? Because she was like a figure skater and she broke her ankle or whatever. And so she couldn't skate anymore. And so she was trying to tell them like, don't just try to do your hobby as your job because if it fails, you're fucked. You gotta do this. Yeah. And everyone's like, shut up, you're just some old bitch. We don't need to listen to you.
Oh, you're so pessimistic. You fucking asshole. You should be supportive.
The solution is just to make an anime adaptation of my life where I work a terrible job that I don't like and it makes me sad, but then I use the money that I make from my job to fuel my hobby. Do you guys want to see this Umbreon star that I just pulled? I bought this yesterday because I have money because I have a terrible job. That was a joke. You don't have to actually. What were we talking about again?
I mean, Umbreon's cool. Is it a shiny Umbreon?
Yeah.
Really?
Nope.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me this was a good hobby.
Awesome. Umbreon is like the best shiny.
It's because Pokemon is doing a 25th anniversary set in the trading card game, so they're reprinting old cards that are like famous from different eras. So they reprinted a shiny Umbreon from Gen 3.
Awesome. That's amazing.
It's super fucking sick.
But yes, Bokuben had... That is like a message that's in a lot of youth media, is follow your dreams. That's why you have, like, every child wants to be a fucking YouTuber or a Twitch streamer. Like, you can't live off of that. You can't all do it. Someone has to get a real job, god damn it.
What's another show I could talk about? I have another show I watched. Okay, this one is not so much that I don't know why I watched it. This show is awful, and for some reason I prioritized it over another show. So I can explain that. So when I was early
Black
on,
Clover.
long ago, not Black Clover, long ago in the distant time of winter 2015.
10 billion years ago.
There was a show that was airing called Tokyo Ghoul Route A.
Oh, I was about to blurt out Route A as a joke, and I didn't realize that was where this was actually going.
And I was watching Route A, and it was god-awful. And I hated every second of it. But I still watched it because I didn't drop anything back then, unless it was Mahoka. And I just watched whatever. And so I was watching the show, and I felt behind on my seasonals. I was like 3 weeks behind or something. And the new season was starting. And I was like, all right, this DanMachi is coming out, and it looks super good, and I want to get to it as quickly as I possibly can.
Yeah. Let's go!
So I'm like, I have a choice to make. Do I drop Route A and watch Junketsu no Maria? Or do I drop Junketsu no Maria and watch Route A? And I made the choice to drop Junketsu no Maria, which is a good show, to finish Route A instead, so I can get to DanMachi as soon as possible.
Hell yeah.
That's what a blunder. You not only dropped a good show, but
this sounds like the best
DanMachi.
timeline.
Yeah, what a time that was.
Worth it. Well, that kind of gets me into like right when I really started like deep diving into anime. That was in 2016. I don't know. At first, I was like, "Oh, Isekai! This is base. This is so awesome!" And I just watched all Isekai, and I was like, "Yes, these are all great. I love this.
It's so original."
No, but that's kind of what I like about it. Is the established framework. It feels like everybody's just writing fan fiction in the same universe, and it's so accessible. I like Isekai as just like a popcorn kind of. It's like a snack anime in a way. It always has like a silly gimmick, and then it's the same afterwards.
If you want
I just like it.
If you want a snack anime, you should watch the currently airing Isekai Shokudo Season 2.
I will. It's on my list. I like the first season.
Why the fuck did that?
But yes, at some point, watching, because I was like every season, I was like, okay, this is Isekai. I want to watch it all. And then you get to like smartphone.
Isekai Cheat Magician was what did it for me.
Yeah, I think I was out of it
actually
before
watched that one.
I watched 2 episodes.
You did. Oh wow, the
so,
rare
like,
drop.
I finished smartphone, and that was like testing my patience. I was like, okay, that was bad actually.
Isekai Cheat Magician has me 100%, and this isn't even a joke. Like, I am literally 100% convinced after watching Isekai Cheat Magician that I could move to Japan and get a light novel published.
Oh, yeah, I feel that too. Yeah,
could.
I am 100% confident that I could do that.
Why? Yeah. I mean, just do it from here, bruh.
Because
I mean, all you gotta do is write it and then have someone translate it.
It was so bland and uninspired. It was like someone watched an isekai and just took notes, and that was their show. Like, they're like, I'm just gonna. Oh,
all you have to do is have a somewhat unique gimmick.
The only interesting part of isekai. What?
I can't even find it bland because I only watched 5 minutes, and I dropped it because it was just like the worst directed anime I've ever seen.
Well,
it
like
was
the guy
so
biking towards them, and they're like, "Oh no!"
Yeah,
and then
what
nothing
the
happens.
fuck was that scene? It was so, and they kept cutting to the charger, and there's some ritual happening. I'm like, what in the fuck? It was literally more confusing than Ari Ferretto in that season.
Oh man, it's got Rii Takahashi.
It does, yeah. She's I think she's the main girl, right?
Rin Asuma.
So the one thing that show has going for it that's like I haven't seen an isekai before, at least, is it's like an actual couple, I think, that get isekai together.
Oh, nice.
Or maybe they're just friends, but they clearly like each other or something like that.
No. Stop. Yeah, I got sidetracked.
Yeah, what were you saying about Isekai Smartphone?
Because the next thing I watched that I finished and I didn't know why was called something Einherjar Ragnarok or something.
Oh dear God!
Oh,
you
yeah.
finished it?
I think I finished it. And that also went nowhere.
I think I finished it.
Well, that's the thing. It's out of my brain. I don't remember the ending at all. But I'm pretty sure I did. And then... No, wait. I dropped that one. I finished Death March. That's the one I finished.
God, Death
You
March.
finished Death March? I couldn't I couldn't even finish the first episode of that shit.
That sucked
That
balls
was
too,
another
but-
terribly directed
But
isekai.
that was the one that was the final straw. Like burned out my patience for this dog shit.
Right.
And then Einher
Fair.
Jar, I got like halfway, I think, and just was like, this isn't worth it. I'm not gonna remember this. Nothing about this is memorable or good.
Einherjar is a bit of a reason why I do my seasonal previews on my now defunct but resurrected second channel, because when I previewed Einherjar in that season, I looked at it and I'm like, wow, this looks like the literal worst anime ever. And then sometime later, Mother's Basement did like a 45-minute video about how it was the worst anime ever. And I'm like, cool, I didn't even have to fucking watch it to know that.
Because, well, it had me hopeful at the first episode because I thought it was going to be about this guy being sent to a fantasy world. It is. But knowing, like, modern warfare. Because not modern, but like historical. Because the way the first episode goes is that he, like, wins a battle by knowing something about, like, Genghis Khan and, like, encircling your foe and blah, blah, blah. Like, he knew all these strats from our world. And he was using that in wars. But no, that was just first episode. He just did that. The rest of it, he goes around marrying harem wives.
Yeah,
So it's
just
Fable, the
literally
anime.
Isekai smartphone.
And it looks like bullshit. Man, Fable was so good.
I hated Fable.
Played it a million years ago.
We totally got... Go ahead, Zorf.
I was
Now
gonna
we're
say,
just talking about stuff we
I was
hate.
going to say, I unfortunately don't have any other isekai on my list to jump into. I have things that are set in,
same.
like, medieval fantasy worlds, though, that aren't isekai, that could very well
Like
be
what?
isekai, and no one would know the difference.
DanMachi?
Did anyone watch Grimoire of Zero?
Yeah.
I watched the first episode and stopped.
That is an anime that got popular specifically because it has a name similar to ReZero. And that's it.
Grimoire
And it's the
of
same
ReZero.
studio as ReZero.
It is white
So
Fox,
for some reason, so for some reason, everyone just assumed it would be good.
Yeah.
It was good for 2 episodes.
It was good for like the first half, I would say, because the two main characters were really good.
They had great chemistry together, and then Albus showed
Yeah.
up and ruined everything.
I just didn't feel that at
Yes,
all.
yeah. The third wheel showed up, and then it had one of the worst villains ever.
13, voiced by Takahito Kayasu.
Not sure who that is, but
Yep.
he had the most boring voice ever.
What?
I mean, not his fault, probably, just the character's
Kayasu
fault.
is like, I don't know voice actors' names, but I know that name. I don't know
I just
who
like
he's
remember
done.
He did Adam. He was
that
Adam in
guy
Skate.
in
Oh, that
Awesome.
guy. Yes.
Oh, wow.
The Ghosh
Oh,
vampire
okay. So now
voice.
I know who this voice actor is.
Yeah, he was Dio in JoJo. He was.
Yeah, he does like all the flamboyant characters.
He was
like,
Roswell in
Roswell.
ReZero.
Of
Yep.
course, yes.
He was the
What's
butler
up,
in
my-
Nisekoi.
Hey, what's up, bitches and hoes and non-binary bros?
What?
That's Adam in the
Throwback to
the
last
dub,
week's episode.
in the skate dub.
Oh. Okay. I didn't
Bitches
watch
and
it.
hoes and
I didn't
no
listen to
bitches
it.
and bros
Sorry.
and non-binary hoes.
Anyway,
I
what
think
was what were you saying about Grimoire of Zero?
Just that it existed.
Yeah.
It was like one of those shows
It's
that
there.
it's like one of those typical like kind of fantasy shows. It's like, oh, this is like an isekai, but it's not like DanMachi or Grimoire of Zero or I don't know. I feel like isekais ruined traditional fantasy shows and you could look at any single
Yeah.
one of them and say, this is just like an isekai. And you wouldn't know the difference. Because sometimes the
Yep.
character gets isekai'd and then they never mention that again ever.
That's true.
Like this is actually a good show, so I'm not putting it with the rest of these, but like Knights and Magic,
Knights of Magic was good, yeah.
the whole like
I never
Knights and
finished that
Magic
either.
is he's like a Gundam fanboy, right? He builds all his Gundam
Uh-huh.
and stuff, and then he gets killed by like a truck probably, and
Yeah, he gets trucked.
And he gets
Probably.
isekai'd into this world where the military like uses mechs, and he uses his mech knowledge to build like the best mechs, right? It's like whatever.
Yeah.
But they never bring that up after like the first episode. Like once he gets isekai'd and reincarnated in this world, which by the way, he is reincarnated as a newborn like a year before
from birth.
like a year before Mushoku Tensei started. So I just want to say that. But
Hey,
they never bring up that he's an isekai guy ever again. Like he never thinks about the real world or his past world.
that happens in too much
time.
isekai, I feel. It's like,
He's just like, all right, time to build some mechs. I'm all into this. And they never bring it up. And I just was sitting there thinking, like, why even have this be an isekai? Why not just have him be, like, a mech, like, savant or something? Like, there's no reason for this to be an isekai.
you've got to have the buzzword in there so the weeps will buy the book.
I guess so.
That's unironically it, I think.
This was old, though. Like, Knights of Magic is from, like, 2012. There wasn't...
No, that was 2017, man. That wasn't
Well,
that old.
the anime was, but the light novel was way older than that.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Or the web novel or something. Like, it started in, like, 2012.
Yeah.
It's really old. It was not in the isekai boom initially.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I was two sports shows, I think aired same season, Hanebado and Harukana Receive.
Yeah.
Those are both on my list.
I thought about putting Harukana Receive on there, but
Really?
I will always remember
Harukana Receive, I know exactly why I watched it. Cute girls, beach volleyball, fat asses.
that. It had that song that I hated.
And it had a pretty cool art style, but then just it was the most boring volleyball I've ever seen.
Yeah, it wasn't very interesting. Like, the characters themselves weren't interesting, and the volleyball wasn't interesting. It's like, oh, this...
Yeah.
And it's like, it also wasn't even, like, that ecchi. Right? Which I can kind of applaud, because it's like, hey, you guys made a show where all the girls were in bikinis, and you didn't make it creepy. Like, good job.
But then also, like, what's the point of making a show? Like, if you're gonna make a show about a girls
What's
in bikinis.
the point of having bikinis?
Well,
No,
it's because
but
beach volleyball is a totally
listen.
different dynamic from, like...
I was just messing.
Indoor
around.
If you're gonna make a show
I'm just
about girls in
shitposting.
bikinis and not make it ecchi,
I'm an
that would imply that you actually care about the volleyball, but they don't. It's about nothing. It's a show about nothing.
That's fair.
yeah.
So, like, if they don't care about
Princess
the volleyball,
Stride.
I expect more ecchi.
Hanebado, though, was actually bad.
Hanebado was a bad show.
The main
but I also don't
character
remember
was
much about
actually insufferable.
You know,
Yes.
I didn't mind Hanebado that much. And it looked awesome.
It looked great.
it. I'm sad that the short hair, like,
Had a JoJo reference in
super
it.
competitive. The super competitive, like,
What doesn't have
tomboy
a JoJo
girl.
reference in it?
I thought she was going to be the main character, but she wasn't.
What was that?
Nothing.
Something about everything has a JoJo.
Yeah, but this was like, it had like the I see your panties that Pomerov did in the sub in part 3.
Huh.
It's like a hand sign, right? So like they do like a clap, Pantsu Marumie. It's like a charades thing. It's a JoJo reference. Don't worry about it. But
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
It was in Hanebado.
Hanebado also had a Danish character in it, and her dialogue was terrible. Because she would say nonsense, but pronounced by a Japanese person who's never heard the language.
Would she actually
just-
just saying nonsense?
Yes, she, like, at some point she says, just the word worst, like our word for just worst. And it's supposed to be, this is the worst, but she just says worst.
That's how language works.
How hard is it to just, like, ask someone?
I mean, maybe hard if you're in Japan and you're just some writer being overworked.
Like, just text a random Danish person and be like, hey, how do you say
Oh,
this?
yes, just text that Danish person you know.
Also, by
It's
the
like,
way,
there's dozens of us.
I was just about defending Hanebado a minute ago, but I actually gave it a 4 on my anime list, and my tag for it is the story really puts the bad in badminton. LOL, good animation.
The OP looked fucking
And
baller.
it's great OP. Eureka always does good OPs.
It was a god tier OP.
There was another show recently that had really good... That you reminded me, Panic. There was a show that aired really recently that had really good English in it. What was it? I mean, this episode came out like last week. What had really good English in it?
Shit, that does ring a bell.
I've only seen Platinum End so far, so I have no
Was
idea.
it Doki-chan?
No, it was...
Tawawa. Senpai's annoying.
What was it?
Let's just go down the list of seasons.
God damn
Was
it.
8?
What was it?
Mushoku Tensei.
No. Oh, God.
Komyusho.
Komi.
Oh, no.
Jahi-sama.
Miruko-chan.
Hold on.
World's End Harem.
Hold on. I can find it.
Nosferatu.
We're not going to talk about anything else until Smurf gets
Sakugan.
this.
I can find it. Wait. Shikizakura.
King's Ranking.
Oh,
What?
I don't know what that is.
Shikizakura had excellent English because they actually did auditions at Anime Expo and just put somebody from there, like put a convention goer in the show to speak English for a line.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're like at like a museum, right? And there's this American blonde lady who walks up to like
Oh, hello there.
an exhibit and just starts speaking English to like the AI that explains the art piece. And everyone's like, "Oh my god, that English sounds amazing!" And it's like, "Well, yeah, it's an American. Like, they just recorded someone at Anime Expo. Like, of course it sounds good."
Right. And again, it's like, how hard for them would it be to just find someone who could speak English instead of always trying to do it themselves, which sounds bad.
Well, it's harder when the character themselves speaks Japanese and then switches to a different language because you have to have like, the
then
same
it
voice.
makes sense. But when you have an American character in a show, and it's like, "Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone.
There's that
I
one.
wish I were a Bado."
There's that one scene from Symphogear, where it's like I think it's like the end of season 1 or beginning of season 2, somewhere around there, where there's like the villain has like her big monologue, but it's entirely in English, and you can't understand a single word she's saying.
There is something like, I don't know if adorable is the right word. It's like endearing about it, like insisting so hard that not hiring anybody to do it good, just do it themselves. We don't care.
The best case of like bad English in anime, I think goes to Great Pretender.
Oh.
You remember that?
Yeah.
You remember how Great Pretender started in full English in the beginning, and then it just like freeze frames after a couple minutes, just saying, "We're going to speak in Japanese from now on."
To make it easier.
That's right.
Yeah, that was really good. I really liked that. There was another show that I had
like cheeky
in my
take on
mind.
it.
There's another show I had in my mind that had good English. Well, I guess like everyone knows Steins Gate's English, right?
Son of a bitch. What's the one guy with the one anime that gets memed on? There's like a black guy, and he's just like, "What the fuck did you just say to me?"
I have no idea what that show. I've seen that clip. I have no idea what that show is.
I know
It's
what
like-
you're talking about.
The whitest voice ever, and there's this big, intimidating black
It's
guy.
like
and he's just like,
there's
what
like
the fuck did you just say?
Like the loser main character, he like sticks his hand in like the lobster cage in like the lobster tank, and he gets like his finger clamped.
His middle
by, like, the
finger
lobster
gets bit,
claw.
so he's just walking around holding up his middle finger.
Oh, that's
Right.
right. Yeah.
I have no idea what show that is. I've seen the clip
Yeah, I
a
don't
dozen
think
times.
anybody knows what that is.
I have no idea what that is. There was I guess it was from the dub, but from Abenobashi Magical Shopping District. There's the clip of the guy selling hot dogs, and he says "fuck" every second word.
Nice.
Hey,
Buy
fucking
a
cowboys,
fucking hot
fucking
dog,
cowgirls,
fuck.
you want some fucking hot dogs? Put some fucking ketchup and some fucking mustard on your fucking hot dog. And it's like, what is happening?
Is he in New York? What's happening?
He's in Texas.
Yeah, I guess.
Is what this book. So then in
Accurate.
Abenobashi is a show. It's a Gainax show from 2002. Gainax and Madhouse, and it's about these two kids that live in like this shopping arcade, I guess they call it, or a shopping district. It's like I don't know, like a part of downtown that's like every building is just like a shop, and they live there because they live on like the second floor of their shops or whatever. And the place is going to be torn down and replaced with a mall. and they go through like this weird journey through dimensions, learning about themselves or whatever. And like each one is a different like thing. So like one episode they'll go in and everything will be mecha, or one episode everything will be like a martial arts movie, or one episode everything will be like a. It's kind of like flip floppers in that regard, I guess, and how it changes. Although what's kind of funny is Gurren Lagann stole something from this anime. I mean, not really stole. It's the same studio, so it's not really stole. But Gurren Lagann, there's a really iconic scene from Gurren Lagann that was in this show 5 years earlier, and nobody really knows about it. Do you know the scene at the end of Gurren Lagann when I guess it's like minor spoilers, but when they're fighting the anti-spirals
in so long.
When they're fighting the anti-spirals, there's that cut of like the like super top of Tengen Gurren Lagann. Like its chest opens up and like a smaller mech comes out, and then a smaller one comes out of that, and a smaller one, a smaller one, a smaller one, a smaller one, until finally Simon comes out of the last one to punch the enemy in the face. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Kinda,
that is in Abenobashi 5 years earlier. Like the same exact cut.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
What
the fuck? Gurren Lagann sucks!
When I saw that, I was like, what? They just took that from this show? I'm like, that's cool, I guess, but nobody cares about this show.
Yeah.
Everyone
Maybe that's they were like, hey, we did a great shot, but no one gave a shit. Why not just reuse it?
We'll keep using it until someone cares.
Wow. We got like totally off topic of what the actual episode was, which was just pointless anime that we watched for no reason, and we're just very mediocre. It doesn't matter. I don't even freaking care.
So a long time ago, I can go back to this. A long time ago, I watched, as it aired, the show that is still my benchmark for absolute mediocrity.
Okay.
That has nothing good about it, but also really nothing bad about it. It is just the ultimate bland, why the fuck does this exist show, and that's Absolute Duo.
Okay.
Absolute dog shit. The name rings a bell. I don't know anything about it.
I've like never heard of this. I've only heard of it in name.
It aired in winter 2015. It was a pretty typical kind of like battle harem academy show.
Oh, very in the season then.
Where everybody has the ability to like use their willpower to like create a weapon, and they can fight with the weapons. Like the main character gets like, or the main girl gets like these two like swords, and there's people that get like big axes and whatever. And then the main character, because he's different, because he's the special main character, he can make a shield. And everyone's like, a shield? Wow, you suck. That's not even a weapon, you idiot. But wait, he's special because he can use the shield to protect himself or whatever. And it's like, okay, who cares? But
this sounds familiar.
It was a show that was like very okay. They had a bunny girl teacher for some reason. I don't know why. But I mean, like the teacher just wore a bunny girl suit.
Smurf.
At all times.
Cool. This show's called Shield Hero. And
I don't remember a bunny girl suit in Shield Hero, unfortunately.
I bet there is one.
There isn't.
Me. I watched Shield Hero. I liked Shield Hero, in fact. I'm like the only one.
I hated Shield Hero, but I also
I'm reading the manga.
That means you're missing out on Saori's voice. What are you doing?
Well, but there's no more of it right now. I'm gonna watch it when it comes out, don't worry.
Anyway, to get back on topic, and also to completely derail it, I'm looking at the character design for this main girl, and this is an awesome design. Why isn't this girl more popular?
So she's
Julie
Julie
Sigtumanuts.
So her name is Yulie. She's
Yulie.
She's like Dutch or something in the show. She says "ja" all the time. Ja.
She sounds Scandinavian. Yulie is a pretty normal name.
And the main character's name is Thor.
It's gotta be Scandinavian.
Totally.
He's not. Cool. No, he's Japanese. His name. That's the joke. Or that's the reference, I guess. The super clever wordplay.
Fucking got him.
He's actually Toru, but he's Thor.
Thoru.
Yeah. That was like an okay show. Great OP, by the way. Very good OP. I loved it.
Konami Suzuki OP. Okay.
Oh, really? I had no idea. That makes sense.
Yeah?
She would have been really young then, because that was 2015. She would have been like 17.
Really? Wow.
Well, she was 16 or something when she did No Game No Life, right?
No idea. She also did what even before that she did Watamote. I think that was our first one.
Isn't that OP like really heavy metal?
Yeah, it's like a metalcore OP, but it differentiates between heavy screamed vocals and Konomi Suzuki. It's awesome. I love that OP. I've actually been listening to that OP a lot lately. It's just such an awesome song.
I'll have to listen to that. I like Konomi Suzuki a lot.
Yeah, I haven't really listened to her a lot lately though. It's like it feels like I don't know if she's actually had like a good song in an anime since ReZero.
Greedy Bursty Spider from the second core of Spider Isekai was great.
Haven't heard of that yet. So,
and she did another one. Okay. I think she's doing one this season too.
That's right. Yeah, for some show. I don't know.
She's like the kind of singer that I always hear and I go, I really like this, and then I see who sings it and I go, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to like ask if there's like a way you can like how exactly does something how do you like distinguish something as a like perfectly average or something? Like I don't know, but I think it's just hard to elaborate on that because in the podcast where we talked about rating anime, there was a question that came up about what is like the most average show you've ever seen, and my answer for that is pretty easy. I would say it's Bungo Stray Dogs, but I can't say that it was just like a perfect flat like middle of the road milquetoast series. It's just that it has lots of good things and lots of bad things about it at the same time, so it just evens out.
Right.
It's hard to find that delicate balance of just perfectly boring.
I kind of go the opposite way. So you're looking at average as something that has both good and bad that kind of meet in the middle. Where for me, average is something that doesn't have good or bad and is always in the middle.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of putting it.
That's tough. That's tough to try to define. I think, well, a recent 5 I gave was Uramichi Onisan. Because, I mean, I had high expectations for it, and they just weren't met. But it wasn't bad either. So, I mean, it was just kind of whatever. That's a 5. I'm going to look at my 5s. Just a second.
Yeah, I'm looking at my 5s as well. Hey, there's Absolute Duo.
Try to see if I can find some kind of...
Guess what my mal tag for Absolute Duo says?
What is
perfectly average and forgettable.
Huh.
Look at that.
Awesome.
Perfect.
See, it's hard to have something that's just like that's perfectly average and forgettable and would be like a 5 out of 10 for me. Because like back all the way in the beginning, I said I watched Remake Our Life all the way to the end. And that was just that's something that I would just say is plain and forgettable. But I gave it a 3 because I'm just like, this was a waste of my fucking time. I shouldn't have watched this. It's like, it makes me it's like if I don't feel anything, then I just think less of it, basically. And I think more negatively about it, I guess. It's like you failed to do anything, and that is like a cardinal sin that you have committed.
Did you guys watch?
Not a lot actually happens in that way. What
Looking at my 5s, I think a fairly common theme is that they all just kind of fizzled out. Like no real ending in a sense.
Okay.
Just like, whatever. that ended. Was that the last episode? Wow. Okay.
Did you guys watch a show from... hold on, let me click on it and see when it aired. Summer of 2018, I want to say. Nailed it. Angolmois?
No.
Okay. It's a show about the Mongols invading... The synopsis on Wikipedia is like, on Mal is literally 2 sentences.
I heard about this.
What the fuck?
I remember people talking about this.
Just open Steam.
It had a good OP.
It did, and a good ED as well, I think.
Was it Chinese or something?
No, it's Japanese. It was about, like, the Mongols invading, like, a Japanese island or something. Sorry about that.
Right.
And it was, like, based on a real event. They had to, like, hold off the Mongols, but it was just, like, boring. Like, the action wasn't interesting, and the characters weren't interesting. And I don't know what... It kind of goes to the theme of the episode. I don't know why I watched the whole thing. Like, not even at the beginning was I like, oh, I'm intrigued, because there's a lot of shows where you're intrigued by it. You're like, oh, I like this. I want to see where it goes, and then it gets bad. But you can at least say like, oh, I watched it because of the potential. This never really had potential. It was just like, oh, that was a show that I watched, I guess. Didn't even.
It's some history.
It had a cute princess. I think she got killed. I don't remember.
Man, none of the history lessons stuck with you, huh?
No.
Guess not.
Have some better history, Japan.
Just watch the what's his name, Bill Worth video, History of Japan.
Just play Ghost of Tsushima.
Let's play Dark Souls. It's basically the same thing. It's like real life.
Just watch anime.
Just watch anime.
Angolmois,
just watch Animegataris.
Yeah. Is that another pointless seasonal?
It's not really pointless.
I think so.
It's not really pointless.
That was one I dropped because it just felt absolutely aimless.
Oh, so you didn't get to the part where it became batshit insane?
No.
Where their world was being invaded by anime characters?
Oh,
no.
I hate it when
No.
that happens.
Okay.
Is this the recreators of whatever season this was?
I have no idea. That show got fucking insane.
Got invaded by like real, based on something anime characters, or like original,
Like
boring
fake
ones?
made up ones for the show.
Lame.
But it was like the main villain's goal was to like mash together the world of anime. It, you know, because anime is a single world. Like it's like we're watching Space Jam, and they want to take the world of anime and just mash it together with the world of the real, so that humans and anime coexist.
Oh my god! Is this podcast when we finally talk about Space Jam 2: A New Legacy? Like absolute pointless tripe, like the worst sequel I've ever seen to anything. Completely ruins the first one. I hated it so much.
You know,
First one ruins
I'm
itself.
I'm glad the Space Jam, that Space Jam 2 sucks and everyone hates it because I've been saying all along, because it didn't need to happen. It's a fucking bad meme. It's a meme that went too far. Space Jam, the first one is great. It's wonderful, and it's also a product of its time. It didn't need to come
need a
back.
sequel. No, I absolutely agree. But at the same time, I don't think it would be hard to make a great sequel. But they've just fucked up in every single way.
When did you watch Space Jam last?
The first one?
Yes.
I have no idea.
Less than half a year ago. Okay, that's great. I have it on VHS, right? So I have a capture card, and I bought like a VCR to HDMI converter. So I streamed my VHS tape to two friends, and we watched it together.
Wow.
Okay, so
that was awesome.
When I was in Vegas recently, in like July, I think, on the flight back, I watched Space Jam on the plane. That movie is not good. Now,
yes, it is.
I loved Space Jam as a kid, right? I've watched it so many times. I loved it. I still really enjoy parts of it, but man, that movie is so bad. Like Bill Murray, in my mind as a kid, I was like, dude, Bill Murray. I was like, Bill Murray shows up and he plays like a whole quarter of basketball and he helps save the day. And then I watched the actual movie and it goes, Bill Murray was in the game for literally 1 second. He was literally 1 second. He comes into the arena with 1 second on the clock.
That's all he needs.
He's like the worst basketball player of all time.
The joke is
like,
that
hey,
he's pointless.
I see you need a 10th guy. I'm here.
It's thematic brilliance.
Where did he come from?
It's called character development.
Where did he come from? Doesn't matter.
How did he get down there?
The same way the fat guy got down there. He dug.
Panic when they won the game, and they're like, okay, time to take Michael Jordan to his baseball game, right?
Yes.
Why did the UFO come from the sky if Toonland is at the center of the earth?
Because they didn't want to ruin the fucking field. Right? They came out of the ground somewhere else.
The movie
Obviously,
is so
duh.
bad. It's not made very well.
Well, you're assuming that's the only way to get to Toon World. Like, the aliens obviously got there somehow, too.
They went into the Earth. They show them do that.
Not my logical inaccuracies in Space Jam.
What, the aliens?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess they did. Like, they flew through that membrane thing.
Yes. They did.
Yes. How did they know where to go?
I don't know.
Doesn't matter. Fucking, it's Looney Tunes, for fuck's sake. That's the whole point.
Doesn't matter.
It's awesome.
Space Jam is for virgins. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is for true chads.
Never seen it.
Unironically, though. I've actually
You
never
should
seen it.
go watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I've seen
right
the important
now.
part, obviously.
I appreciate
Obviously,
it for how
yes.
well it blends 2D and live action. I've seen a lot of VFX breakdowns of
That Space Jam does that great, too.
Of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Space Jam does a good job of that. Yes.
The sequence where they go through Michael Jordan's house, like, that's a lot of fucking work, actually.
That part's good. Although that part,
And in the
I
new
remember
movie,
being,
it just all looks like garbage.
That part
it's
I remember
the
being-
laziest.
I remember the Michael Jordan's house scene being like 15 minutes long when I was younger, and I watched it, and it was like,
Mind-blowing.
oh, that was like a 3-minute long scene, and it's over. It's just over immediately.
It's a very short movie. Like, the fucking basketball game starts like halfway through.
The movie needed more time.
Perfect.
I also really
Perfect
appreciate.
movie.
Well, I'll get off Space Jam after this, but I really appreciate how when Michael gets sucked into the golf hole, and Stan, or whatever the fuck his name is like, Michael, what are you doing? And then Bill Murray and Larry Bird are just like, all right, see ya. And they just walk off. Like,
See you later,
they're not
man.
phased at all that Michael Jordan got sucked into a golf hole. They're just like, all right. Well,
Yeah, I'm
we'll
outta
see you
here.
next week, Michael.
It's like, I'm not touching this. I'm fucking out of here.
Later, bozo.
Yeah. Man, we need to gang watch Space Jam. It's so
You need to
fucking
gang
good.
watch anything.
That
I'm
soundtrack,
so fucking
It's like this.
bad.
This soundtrack is like
making
90%
gang watches.
of that movie.
Soundtrack's
And
pretty
the
great.
new movie fucking sucks. Like, bad soundtrack. The animation is terrible. It's so lazy. It's just a disaster in every way. I hate it so much.
It's what everyone gets for memeing on it so much. Ha,
LeBron
ha,
James is a
fuck
terrible
you.
actor. Michael Jordan is not very good either, but they
Michael
knew
Jordan
that, so
wasn't-
they didn't.
He wasn't bad. He was
No.
he was okay. Michael
They,
Jordan was
but
an
they,
okay
they
actor.
knew how to work with what they had. He did not get many lines. He didn't have to act very much.
Right.
LeBron James is in Space Jam 2 so fucking much, and he's terrible.
Space Jam. I've never seen Space Jam 2. Why does it have Rick and Morty in it?
Because fucking Warner Brothers. Because everything's in it. Everything they own.
Because funny memes.
Fucking. Okay, check this out. They took out Pepe Le Pew because he's problematic.
Right.
But then in the background of the basketball game, they have the guys from fucking Clockwork Orange standing there cheering.
Is that problematic though?
No, but they're in it.
Right, but is Clockwork Orange like problematic? Right, because like Pepe Le Pew is
What?
like sexual harassment, right?
But these three guys have raped an old lady, don't they?
I have no idea. I've never seen Clockwork Orange.
I know they do.
The only thing
They're
I've
like
seen...
three rapists are in the background clapping at the basketball.
The only thing
But
I know
Pepe Le
about
Pew,
Clockwork
oh,
Orange
we can't
is
have
like,
him.
is like holding the eyes open to make people watch a movie. That's the only thing I know about that movie.
That's what someone would have to do to me to
Iron
watch
Giant is in
Space
it.
Jam
Oh.
2.
Well, I thought you were gonna.
Electric-
I thought you were gonna segue us into an anime. I thought you were gonna be like,
Electric
"That's what
Boogaloo.
someone would have to do to make me watch."
You know an anime that I watched and I have no opinion of? Planet with.
Planet with what?
With what?
Remember Planet with, guys?
I never watched it.
No.
Mother's
Man.
Basement said it was good.
Remember Appare-Ranman?
Unironically,
show.
Appare-Ranman is also on my list.
Oh, really? Good show.
Yeah.
disappointing.
Appare-Ranman looks
It
like
was
the kind of
disappointing.
show I would love.
They
but then I
barely
hear
were in
it's-
Nebraska at all. Like, what the fuck?
It looks like it would be an awesome show. It looks like it would be about racing. There is no racing in Appare-Ranman.
It looks
They
like
race for 30 seconds and then someone crashes and then they have to spend 2 episodes on the side of the road.
So I was really hyped for Appare-Ranman.
Appare-Ranman sucks! Anyway, what were you saying?
I was really hyped for Appare-Ranman to show off Nebraska, because they went through Nebraska, and they skipped all of it.
XD.
Like, they started to get to Nebraska, and then they cut to some town north, like, south of Omaha. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, they're going to go through this town. And then they just, like, nah. Okay, we're going to have a big battle in Missouri, right across the border. And it's like, are you serious? Like, really? Fucking Missouri. God damn it.
All I want is, like, movies and TV shows about, like, nomadic desert outrider cultures. That's all I want. And that's what Appare-Ranman looked like.
There's a pretty good manga about racing across the country.
It's called JoJo Part 7.
It is called JoJo Part 7.
I know, and I'm waiting for that part to come out. I'm very excited for that, actually.
Seriously?
Yes.
Interesting.
I don't know. I mean... I
this
don't
rate,
think I'll watch
only
the first
3
6
years left.
seasons.
We'll get it in 2024.
It'll come out at some point. I don't know if I'm gonna watch all of JoJo before that.
I think you would like
Panic. Don't worry, Panic. You can skip JoJo parts.
That's what I heard, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna watch Part 7 with no prior knowledge.
So,
because it looks pretty cool.
While I don't condone that at all in any way, shape, or form, Part 7 is probably the part you could jump to and have the least problems.
It actually does make sense to start at Part 7.
But I also don't condone that behavior at all in any way, shape, or form. So I want to say that. Speaking of not condoning that behavior, that's a terrible... did anyone watch... Oh, we talked about Godzilla. Was that in the podcast, or were we not recording it? I don't know. I watched Godzilla earlier this year.
Don't know.
That's right.
Godzilla Singular Point, and boy, was it boring.
That's the CG anime, right, or something?
The CG anime where... So that was a Bones /
Orange,
thank you. Bones / Orange anime. And if I didn't know better, and honestly I don't know better, so it feels like Bones did the CG and Orange did the 2D. That's what it felt like when I watched it. Because it was all look bad. It was all look bad.
They both did the thing that the other is good at.
The CG monsters were ugly as fuck, and the 2D wasn't very good. And I was like, is this really Bones and Orange? I don't believe that. So Godzilla is like 2 shows in one. Right? There's 2 separate storylines happening. One is actually pretty good and interesting. The other is like a 3 out of 10 quality. Because it's just technobabble about nothing. And you have no idea what the fuck anybody's talking about at any point. And there's a AI dog, and there's a skeleton of Godzilla that's somehow controlling things, and there's portals to dimensions, and there's time travel, and I have no idea what the hell is happening. And the other story is just, hey, these guys jumped in a robot and are punching monsters in the face, and that part is cool. The other part sucks.
That does sound pretty cool.
If you want to watch an anime where people just jump in robots and punch monsters in the face, you should watch... What?
Gridman. Now.
Okay, I thought you said Squid Game. I was like, what?
What? Squid Game? I haven't seen Squid Game.
Gridman's good. Yeah.
Watch Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim, not an anime.
Might as well be.
But Godzilla reminded me a lot of Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim's good.
Pacific Rim is fucking amazing.
Never saw Pacific Rim 2.
I did. It was not as good. Still pretty okay. Like, the fights were cool.
I remember...
Did they make a third one?
No. They made an anime, I think.
The second one is just called Uprising.
Didn't they make an anime for Pacific Rim?
Maybe.
Because, they're doing that. They have, like, the Cyberpunk anime coming out, the Blade Runner anime coming out. They made Star Wars anime.
Oh, yeah. Man, I sure can't wait to get some of all these Western IPs into my anime.
Yay.
That's awesome. Get excited. Consume product.
Give me my Scott Pilgrim anime. That's what I want.
Ooh. Now that's an idea.
That's a good idea.
Because that's already, like, drawn in the style of a manga. Ish. Kinda. It has a manga feel, art style, if you think.
Right. And I haven't read it. I've only watched the movie, but the movie was very stylized. Fucking
love that movie.
Fantastic movie. I can watch Scott Pilgrim until the day I die.
Every single thing about it. Freeze, vegan, please.
Chicken isn't vegan?
Chicken isn't vegan?
That's like that. Scott Pilgrim is probably the movie that I've heard the most about without actually watching any of.
Oh, dude, Mons, you should totally watch it. How do you?
That's a gang watch. That's a fucking gang watch, if anything.
I will gang watch Scott Pilgrim vs. the World any day.
I think something I missed on my first watch of it. Like, I watched it with my brother one time. That was like second time I saw it. And the part where he's like barely stepping out of frame, and then a second later he goes flying horizontal through a window just to escape an awkward situation.
Fantastic shot! I love that so much. Had me
fucking dying.
Oh my god!
The one girlfriend I had in high school even looked like Ramona Flowers, which is hilarious.
I'll watch anything that has Mary Elizabeth Winstead in it. Is
that Ramona Flowers?
Yes. She was unironically the best part of Birds of Prey.
Who is she in Birds of Prey? I haven't seen that. Who is she in that?
Huntress.
She's the birds.
Ooh, Huntress.
She's also in that movie, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. She played his wife.
Based Department.
And she's also in that new movie Kate that I haven't seen yet. On Netflix, I think.
Kate the Infinity.
I have Kate the Infinity. I wish. Skate does not belong on this list, but I have.
No, Skate the Infinity was great.
I have a couple more shows I can bring up if we want to get back to some anime. Did anyone watch Dimension W?
Yes, that was in the first season of anime that I actively watched.
It was in winter 2016, I believe.
Our year and
I have never heard about this.
Sounds right.
Dimension W, man, you had to be there. Dimension W was supposed to be like the face of the new generation. It was
King of Shonen,
the biggest show ever.
I have a Dimension W poster.
They had crazy merch for that.
They had so much advertising for that.
Funimation was all in on Dimension W. They really wanted this to take off.
And then it had a good start, though. The first couple episodes were great. The loser episode was awesome. And then it just became Technobabble, the anime.
It just died. It wasn't even like Wonder Egg Priority, where it's like, all right, it's not as cool as first, and then it just completely dips at the end. It's just it just stopped being interesting. It just had all of its best ideas in the beginning.
It had what I call a lot the typical sci-fi show second half, where just none of it's interesting anymore.
It makes sense. Yeah,
I feel that with a lot of sci-fi anime, where
they explored all the themes and ideas, and now they're just gonna write it out.
Yeah, and that part I just don't care about anymore. Dimension W did have good dancing in the OP. Everyone loves the Dimension W dance, especially in the OVA when Miria did the dance.
Yeah, I like that. That girl was cute.
Is it Mira or Miria? I think it's Mira.
I think it was Mira.
That sounds right.
Mira.
Panic, you would like Mira. She's a robot girl.
I already love her.
And she has she has a tail that kind of looks like Cell's tail from Dragon Ball.
Ooh, Mira, Yurisaki.
I don't know.
She does have a little bit of a tail. Looks like an XLR cable.
She's pretty cool though.
Yeah, you can plug your microphone into her and just.
I don't like her design at all. She looks like trash. What the fuck is this?
What?
No.
Is this her? I'm gonna post her in the show.
Post her in #Y.
Yeah,
is this her?
Yeah.
She sucks.
You suck.
Fuck you, Panic.
I hate that.
We're gonna stay in Dimension W now because you won't. Someone has to.
I mean, it is called Dimension W, not Dimension L.
It's
true.
really ahead of its time.
When are they gonna make Dimension L?
That was that was by I'm misspelling everything constantly.
Oh, Dio Media?
Oh, it was Studio 3 Hertz. I
3
liked
Hertz.
this studio.
Yeah, that's the beginning of that was the beginning of me going, everything 3 Hertz makes sucks in the second half.
Oh.
Dimension W, Princess Principal, Flip Floppers.
What's wrong with Princess Principal? That's a good
Everything
show.
is wrong with Princess Principal. It's out of order for no fucking reason, and it infuriates me.
No.
It's also like, hey, here's this cool group of 5 girls. Hope you don't like the other 3, because you're only going to get focused on these 2.
No.
When the other 3 are better characters.
But maybe they're only better characters because you haven't gotten the story.
That's true. I wouldn't like them anymore if they had more screen time. That's just how I am, apparently.
Oh yeah, that's right. You only like the really weird, obscure, like appears one time, has no lines.
I don't only like them.
Oh,
they're just often the most
back.
interesting character.
Shit.
Like the girl from Hibike.
Dude, Masako Sakai is like the cutest girl in that show. And you can't argue with me because you don't know who she is.
I vaguely remember she's got brown hair or something.
She has a red bow tie in her hair. It's very cute.
Does she play? What does she play?
Drums.
Drums. I was actually gonna say drums, but I was like, there's only a couple drums.
She has no speaking lines. She's no voice actress. She's the best character.
That's what I'm saying.
She's my favorite Hibike girl. I have one other show on my list that I can bring up, and it's the show that Moz was adamant that we would all love the OP of. Moz, do you know what I'm talking about?
When was this?
Summer of 2019? I don't know.
Is it BNA?
I don't know. There are lots of OPs I like. Which one was it?
No Guns Life.
Oh, wow! I completely forgot about that.
Exactly. No Guns Life was a show that is about a guy who has a head that's a gun. His head is a gun, and that's where the end of the interesting parts of the show end. And he's voiced by Junichi Suabe, so that's pretty nice too. But
neat.
Yeah, just a kind of a show about like a cyberpunky kind of world, and the main character has like a gun for a head, and he's like a detective, and he teams up with this mechanic girl and this dude who has a power to control robotics, which includes like the main character and other people that are like, you know, enhanced.
Huh.
Hold on.
Huh.
I remember that show seeming really, really interesting on paper.
It was interesting,
like,
and
no
then
one
it just falls apart as it goes.
Yeah.
Like what's even happening anymore? They're fighting like a movie star. Yeah, I don't know what's happening anymore.
Remember Copcraft?
No.
I love Copcraft.
I kind of liked it too,
dude. The OP is a banger.
It absolutely is.
The OP slaps.
And the elf chick is kind of cute.
She's very cute.
What was her name? Something cat.
I have no idea what her name was.
Because she acted like a cat. Every once in a while.
I do remember her acting like a cat.
Tilarna exidilica. That's nothing to do with cat. Anyway.
Yeah, Copcraft was a fun show. It was kind of like
it's kind of fucking weird.
It was kind of like what's another show I'm trying to think of? It's one of those shows where like the fantasy world comes into our world, you know, like. But
yeah, it's like a portal to another dimension. She's like a cop from Elfland,
like Kekai Sensen-ish, I guess. Right? I guess I would.
I haven't seen Kekai Sensen.
I get what you're talking about, but I have no idea what like term to call this. Yeah.
Because it's like, like there is a portal. You can go between worlds, and they just accept each other's existence. And the main character is like, oh, we've got an elf that came in and killed one of our officials or whatever. We gotta hunt him down and stop him. So they send the fantasy world sends over this little elf girl to be this elf warrior girl to be his partner, because she's like, this is a crime committed by one of ours, so we have to be the one to bring him back and put him on trial or whatever. So they kind of team up, and they're from two different worlds. And
is it kind of like in? So this is a weird it's
kind of buddy cop.
In Monster, did you watch Monster Musume? I
did.
Do you remember that one episode about interspecies law?
The first episode?
No, not that one. The one that's all focused on the monster police squad.
Oh, Mon.
They have Mon.
Yeah.
Monsters committing crimes in human civilizations cannot be apprehended by human cops, because human on monster violence is not permitted.
Right. Okay. That Mon Squad had the two best girls on the show, by the way.
I'm thinking that you're thinking Monaco and Zombie.
Exactly. You're 100% right.
Yeah. Cyclops and Zombie. They're pretty great. But I think that's kind of the same thing in Copcraft, where it's okay, an elf has come to Human Town and is committing crimes. So the only one who's allowed to stop him is an elf cop or a human cop assisted by elf cop.
Right.
I think that's an interesting concept. I would love a Mon standalone show about them.
You could watch the Bright anime is coming out pretty soon.
The Bright, Bright. Green lives don't matter. A fucking movie.
What? I never saw the movie. I have no idea. But
it was Max Land. It was Will Smith.
Yeah, it was Will Smith in L.A., but there were elves and magic and shit. Yeah.
It was orcs. And the orcs were just a metaphor for black people and racism. It was green lives don't matter. But it's it's Will Smith saying it as a cop. It's just every wrong signal at the same time.
But they're making an anime of that.
Yeah. Written by Max Landis, the guy who got canceled shortly after. So that's great. I wonder if he's involved with the new one, then.
I have no idea. The new one's called Samurai Soul. I don't know what it's about. I don't know how it connects to the original movie.
I mean, I also don't care. It's a cool concept.
It is.
It's a cool concept, but I don't know if the movie was apparently a piece of shit. I'm wondering if this could be good. Wait, this says it's finished.
Oh, is it? I don't know.
Aired October 12th. Finished airing. One episode. It's an ONA.
Oh. Well, okay.
XD.
Then.
1 hour, 20 minutes. Oh, it's a movie.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Cool.
Did you guys see the High Guardian Spice is finally out?
Is it out?
It's out?
Or it's coming out in less than a week or something like that. It gets coming out very soon if it's not out right now.
Oh my god.
I do remember they dropped a trailer for it. They finally acknowledged
it's so weird.
Existence.
It's so fucking weird. There's just
it comes out on the 26th. 9 days from now.
Oh, okay.
They made it and talked about it and finished it and then just put it in a vault for 2 years. Why?
It's because that was the show where Crunchyroll made High Guardian Spice and everyone was mad at them for making it. Everyone's like, well, how dare you waste our subscriber money on this woke SJW garbage?
This CalArts
I will say those aren't necessarily my opinions. I'm not saying they aren't. I'm not saying they are, but that's what people are saying.
Yeah.
I remember people got mad about it, but then they just fucking hid it away.
Yeah, everyone was like, how dare you waste the subscriber money on this nonsense? And so Crunchyroll went, okay, we won't release it then. And everyone goes, but that's a bigger waste of money now. Now you're just...
you can't unuse the money. Just...
you're done with it. You might as well release it. At least get something out of it.
You're being silly, Crunchyroll.
Okay, Crunchyroll.
Stop being so silly.
Crunchyroll's never silly.
Serious business only. Maybe it's because they're finally owned by Sony and Funimation, and they're like, what's this thing in the vault? Fucking release it.
And Crunchyroll themselves isn't silly. It's the Crunchyroll Hime VTuber that's silly.
Is that out?
I don't fucking know, man. Do I look like someone who follows a Crunchyroll?
I thought you were going to say, do I look like someone who follows VTubers? And I was going to say, yes.
Do I look like someone who's into VTubers?
Yes, actually.
I literally have Mori Calliope's EP.
That's embarrassing.
No, it's not. It's good. Shut up.
I don't own anything nearly that embarrassing. And I own both volumes of the Monster Girl Encyclopedia.
Okay.
I have a board game of High School Musical trivia, so I don't know if I can talk.
That's awesome.
Why?
Because I was a huge fan of High School Musical when I was younger.
They're great movies.
I saw it 19 times.
How do you know the exact number of times you've seen something?
I kept track.
I don't even know how many times I've seen Mirai Nikki.
I've seen Scott Pilgrim 7 times.
Okay. You're too smart for me. You win.
You know how to count. That's too much. It's too powerful.
Incidentally, smart anime. I'm just kind of naming stuff off now, but smart anime that goes in the category of anime that I watched to completion, and at the end of it, I was like, "Why? This did nothing for me." It was Cells at Work Black. Not necessarily the first one, not the original Cells at Work, because that one was novel. But then Code Black was like, it's the same thing, but like negative. But otherwise, it's the same thing.
I don't
Oh,
think
it has titties for some reason.
It does have, well, because the mangaka is an ecchi mangaka. They do like everything else they've done is ecchi. I don't agree with that necessarily.
That's fine.
Because I feel like it still had new stuff to tell. I had issues with it for sure, but it didn't come off to me as just like, why does this exist?
No, I agree. It covered stuff that the original couldn't.
Like, I didn't like how this person's body must be like dead 18 times. It's like, he has a heart attack, and he has awful blood clots, and he has 15 different STDs. Oh, and also the worst of all, he's losing his hair.
No, he didn't get gonorrhea, just almost.
And he's getting COVID-19.
No, that's the original Cells at Work.
True.
That's not a joke, by the way.
Oh, really?
They put out a bonus chapter recently.
Oh, yeah, okay. I thought you said that, like, the OG Cells at Work from, like, the very beginning was about COVID-19.
No.
They called it.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Like, what? A COVID-19 show from, like, 2017?
What are you doing in my review?
It's like how they're in Breaking Bad, they make a joke about Ebola, and then Ebola actually did break out, like, a few years later. So everyone's like, hey, remember that one time when Breaking Bad mentioned Ebola? Amazing.
There's
a Simpsons episode.
There's a Simpsons episode for everything.
I consume a lot of Rooster Teeth content, and there's one episode of their podcast from 2019, like middle of 2019, where one of them said, I think for 2020, we should all just stay home and not leave the house and just take the year off.
Cool.
They got their wish.
I hope he's happy.
He isn't.
Please, that's Punch.
Unless he died from coronavirus. In this case, it's probably not good.
He did not. He did not die from coronavirus.
Man, that would be really embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of embarrassing, this episode
crazy.
I had a good time.
It was a time.
I got to yell about Space Jam, so I'm happy.
That's what it's all about. Yeah, so I guess that's about it, because I'm tired, so I want to go to bed.
And now, great listeners of this podcast, when you finish this podcast, you can add it to your list of stuff that you got to the end of and thought, why did I watch that?
Yes.
Especially if you actually sat at your screen and watched the YouTube video.
Like some kind of fucking weirdo. Why would you do that?
Yeah, imagine having, like, on-screen visualizers are some sort of thing that
Imagine
attracts their
caring
attention.
about making every episode look different from the last one.
Right? Who does that?
Why would we do that?
Not us, certainly.
So fucking stupid. Why do we do this?
So, and if you are one of those weirdos, then you should probably know that there's a much more convenient way of listening to this, which is on any MP3
Spotify
platform, such as Spotify or whatever, I guess.
Yeah. And obviously, leave a comment with the show you watched and was like, why did I watch that? Or do you agree with ours? Do you have some of your own?
Yeah.
Tell us. Please.
Tell us your opinions on every anime you have ever seen.
I'm hyped for people to post my favorite anime in the comments. Be like, not JoJo, but be like, I don't know. What did I like? Shirobako?
Babylon.
Snow White with the red hair.
I mean...
Do you like that?
I do. It's not like a favorite of mine, but I like it.
Okay. I don't know why it came to my head.
It's a weird... Shiryuki...
That was a very random show.
Remember that show you love? Wait, what? No.
Remember that show you probably gave like an 8 out of 10?
Shiryuki is one of my favorite characters on Mal.
Oh, okay.
She's pretty
That's
cool.
probably why.
Voiced by Saori Hayami, and she also sings the OP, so it's a good show.
Wonderful.
Let's fucking go.
So tell us about Shiryuki Hime in the comments, or talk to us on Discord about it. We've got a Discord server. Link is in the description. We do stuff on there sometimes. Maybe someday I will host more gang watches, like, I don't know, Space Jam, or Bunny Girl, or Shiryuki Hime, whatever. Halloween is coming up, though, so maybe I'd like to do something for Halloween. That'd be kind of cool. Or maybe I'll just get drunk by myself, like usual, XD, whatever. And also, we've all got Twitter accounts. You can find us on Twitter at Tokyo Podfathers, or our own personal Twitters. Those will be linked in the description as well. But whatever you do, however you want to go about your business beyond this podcast, we thank you very much for making us part of your day, however that might have been. So, that's it. See you next week with our first impressions of the season. Yeah!
Yeah, woo!
Neither of you guys are invited.
Oh,
good. Because I'm not watching it.
I wanted to talk about how great Tesla Note was.
No.
You've been fantastic, and I hope you enjoyed it. There is a point. Is there a point to all this? Let's find a point. Is there a point to my act? I would say there is.